So this probably doesn't make much sense right now, but I'm in the process of modifying the benchwork so that whatever industry goes here gets to sit a little bit below the main line. There's really no necessary purpose to this except for that it'll make it look cooler. And aren't we all into model railroads that look just a little bit cooler? So there you go. You'll see the results of this as we go along. I did a lot of the benchwork modification that I spoke about earlier. And what you're seeing is the structure of the deck of the layout. So when you're looking at this, you can see that there's the ends of the braces and then some extensions. That I was thinking was going to be the easiest way to create a lower part of the layout. And I thought about something else too, and this kind of helped me along a bit, which was I had already cut some of these and I wanted them to be longer. And I don't know about you guys out there, but I've never found a reliable wood stretcher. So, because those things just don't exist. So I decided that if I was going to do this, I would just reposition some of the braces and then, use some smaller pieces to extend them. Since there's not a lot of weight on this part, it's not a big deal. So what we have is about 3/4 of an inch lower than the main right here. Again, as I said earlier, this cement plant may or may not be the final industry that ends up here. And I used a bunch of scrap wood to kind of help me figure out where I want things to be. Because, you could end up cutting a bunch of extra stuff and, why waste all that when you've got some scrap laying around you can toy with. So there we have it. The main will come off somewhere about where that switch is, and then it'll come down here where the ruler is. Like I said, about 3/4 of an inch. It's probably going to be about a 3% grade, but for that short of run, I'm not really going to worry about that. Looking at my plan, I decided that I didn't like the track coming down this way. I want to put a double track swing bridge about here if I can make it fit, which may not happen, but I'm gonna try it. And so having a turnout come off of here and come down really wasn't going to work because I needed it to be back here where the swing bridge needs to be, and the curve for the end of the peninsula starts about where the camera is right now. Then it occurred to me that this is wide enough that I might be able to come off of here and come down here and then use a switch and go back this way. This would also give me the opportunity to have enough room to maybe put a little dock for a team track over this way. So that's going to be my next revision of this plan, and we'll see how that works out. I got this idea to put a crossover back here, and that meant I had to put a tortoise against that brace right there. And of course, I discovered this when it was a little too late to do changes without making a big, huge mess of things. So I was looking at getting a building or having some kind of a linkage for that. And I bought one. Turns out it was missing parts when I got it. And then a gentleman that I met online, that sounds corny, doesn't it? Whose name is Lee Marsh, fellow modeler, had dealt with some issues like this on his Great Northern layout and sent me some pictures and an idea for what he's done. And I'm just getting started on that project right now. Now the brass plate is flexing a little bit down there. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So that's basically, there's a little piece of aluminum tubing that is hot glued to the plywood and then soldered to the brass rod. The lower deck on this railroad is really low, and right now I'm actually sitting on the floor, and this is only about 25 inches above that at its bottom level here. You might be thinking that's just way too low for a railroad, but normally at my job, not right now because I'm working at home, but normally I stand a lot. So being able to have a railroad where I could get home and actually sit in a chair and work on some stuff for a while would be kind of nice. Anyway, the downside of that at the moment is that I got to put some tortoises underneath here. One of them is already set up and it's kind of a special mount. I talked about that earlier in an earlier part of this video. The other one, I just got through drilling the holes for with this tortoise template that comes with tortoises. And so now I'm about to get back under here again and get ready to mount that. You're not going to see that in the video because it's just too much of a pain. I have an extra couple of pieces of wood tie laying around. So I decided to use this to see how long that tortoise throw bar really needs to be. Looks like I can nip this one off a little bit more. I actually had to take a little bit more off that bar, but now it looks pretty good. And you want to make sure that you've got some kind of protection for your eyes, look away or wear glasses at least or something. I can tell you that when I nipped this off, the piece flew up and landed in my hair. I didn't think I had enough hair to catch it, but apparently I do. Well, I guess that's good news. Here I'm installing a touch toggle base in double speed with a couple of number 4 by 3/4 inch screws. The touch toggle base is kind of the brain for the touch toggle system, and the touch toggle plugs into it, and then it connects to power and the tortoise. Finding the DCC bus to get in the way of this operation. So, let's see if I can stick it up there so it's out of the way for a bit. I don't know where all the wiring is going underneath here just yet. If you really don't enjoy soldering all that much, and you're looking for a kind of neat way to set up tortoises or other devices to change the turnout orientation, the touch toggles can be pretty cool. I'm removing a screw terminal and I'm showing that to the camera. You can basically take that off, connect your wires to it, and then slide it back on. The thing has 2 ways to power it. One is a 12-volt barrel connector, and then the little red thing next to it is actually a couple of pins if you're the type that can make the pin out connectors. And you can go from touch toggle base to touch toggle base, one right after the other. For now, I'm just connecting this with a splitter of a 12-volt barrel connector. And I've got another touch toggle set up down the line. One other thing I almost forgot to add about edge connectors, and that is that where the 2 sides of the connector come together, they're usually not permanently attached. So what can happen is you can lose connection because you soldered a wire to one side and the other side isn't sandwiched up against it as close as it would look. So what I do is I try to solder the 2 sides together when I'm doing this. So let's test this.
That's a pair of Proto 2000 F units that I've had around for probably about 10 years. Somewhere in my old stuff on my YouTube channel, there's a video of them running on the old T&W layout. And coming up is a caboose I custom painted.